Hi, welcome back to a daily lore. We're still going through, obviously, the whole old to new. Next one up is this one. But obviously, you can see next week is going to be, well, the rest of this week is going to be great, and then next week is going to be great because I'm not going to, like I said before, I said in episode 1, obviously, I'm not putting them together to make it over a certain amount. My commentary already makes it a certain amount.
My childhood friend always borrowed everything from me. Yesterday she tried to borrow my husband. I never thought I'd be typing this out.
I read that when I was looking at this video. Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
Much less sharing it with thousands of strangers on the internet. But after what happened yesterday, I need to get this off my chest, and maybe hear from others who've dealt with something similar, because I honestly don't know where to go from here. I've known Olivia since we were 5 years old. We grew up on the same street in a small Midwestern town where everyone knew everyone's business. Our mothers were friends, which naturally meant we were thrown together for playdates, birthday parties, and family barbecues. From the outside, we probably looked like the perfect.
It makes sense. I mean, if you have a family friend, if your parents are friends with that, obviously, I wouldn't say you become friends with their kid. It's just you're always going to be around if they're, the mom will bring you around all the time, so you guys have to play together forcefully. So, yeah, I don't know if I hope I keep doing that. I don't remember if I full screen.
Childhood friends, inseparable, always giggling about something, trading friendship bracelets and pinky promises. But there was always something off about our friendship, something I couldn't quite put my finger on as a child but became glaringly obvious as we grew older.
It was forced. I don't know.
Olivia didn't just want to be my friend, she wanted to be me. It started innocently enough. If I got a new backpack for school, Olivia would show up with the exact same one a week later. When I joined the soccer team in 4th grade, suddenly Olivia was begging her parents to sign her up too.
Some parents will probably be like, "Oh, that's just cute." But really? You think that's cute? I think that's weird. I would think that's weird. Maybe at first. Obviously, at first, yes. That would be adorable, obviously. But after a while, it gets kind of questionable. It doesn't stay cute forever. Somebody copying you pretty much every week for years, for months, for days, months, years, decades. That's weird. That's bizarre. That's just beyond normal.
When I got my hair cut into a bob in 6th grade, Olivia appeared at school 2 days later with the same haircut. My mother called it flattery. Imitation is the sincerest form of admiration, she'd say whenever I complained. But it didn't feel like admiration, it felt like I was being erased. By high school, the pattern had intensified. If I mentioned liking a certain band, Olivia would become their biggest fan overnight, somehow always managing to get concert tickets before me. When I was accepted to the school newspaper, Olivia suddenly discovered her passion for journalism. My first boyfriend? Olivia befriended him immediately, texting him constantly with questions about homework until they eventually started dating 2 weeks after he and I broke up. I tried setting boundaries. I tried keeping certain aspects of my life private. I even tried confronting her directly during our junior year after she applied.
That won't work. Obviously, confronting her. Oh shit. Confronting her won't do anything. Oh shit. You can't see the bubble. So wait, is that still recording? Oh, it is. Okay. She won't do anything. Yeah, she would probably be defensive or something. I don't know. Let me see what she says.
The same colleges I was interested in, despite having previously talked about attending an art school on the West Coast. I just realized these schools are a better fit for me too, she said with that wide-eyed innocent look she'd perfected. Isn't it exciting that we might go to college together? Just like we always planned? We had never planned that. In fact, I had specifically talked about wanting a fresh start somewhere far from home. But arguing with Olivia was like trying to nail jelly to a wall, nothing stuck. She'd twist my words, make me feel
What kind of saying is that? I never heard that one before. But yeah, it makes sense.
like I was overreacting, or worst of all, make me feel guilty for not wanting her to share in my happiness. I thought you'd be
Yeah,
excited that I was interested in the same things.
it's just a manipulation, 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 manipulate, manipulating tactic. That's what it is. That's all it is. There's nothing more, nothing less.
Say, tears welling in her eyes. I look up to you, Emma. Why don't you want me around? By the time graduation rolled around, I was exhausted. Thankfully, despite applying to the same schools, we ended up at different universities. I went to a state school 3 hours from home, while Olivia attended a liberal arts college about an hour away. The distance gave me room to breathe, to discover who I was without someone mirroring my every move.
But she probably continue calling you, yada yada yada, wanting to meet up, yada yada yada. I mean, come on. That has to be annoying.
College was transformative for me. I made real friends who celebrated my successes without trying to replicate them. I discovered a passion for environmental science, joined several campus organizations, and even studied abroad in Costa Rica for a semester. It was
Ooh,
during that time
Costa
abroad that I met
Rica.
Ethan, who was participating in a research project at the same
Why is it always Ethan? Like, I understand these stories are usually the names are different, but why do people always say Ethan? Or what's the other name? It's usually Ethan or something else. I forget the other names. But it's usually Ethan. Ethan's like the main name. Is that like? I think that's because it's the most popular name. It's one of the most popular names. That's why.
biological reserve where I was studying. Ethan was different from anyone I'd dated before. Thoughtful, genuine, and passionate about marine conservation, he challenged me intellectually while supporting my ambitions. We maintained a long-distance relationship after my semester ended, and 2 years later, after we both graduated, we moved to the same city to pursue our careers and our relationship. I deliberately kept Ethan separate from my hometown life, especially from Olivia. We drifted apart.
That's true. That's true. Olivia would want to, try to steal him away.
Naturally, during college, our interaction reduced to obligatory birthday messages and the occasional like on social media. I'd see her posts showing her sudden interest in rock climbing, after I posted about my new hobby, or her decision to adopt a rescue dog, 2 months after I adopted mine, but the distance made these echoes of my life feel less threatening.
She's still doing it, even though they're not really interacting with each other. My God, this is like holy. I don't know how you're not living your life. You're trying to live somebody else's. That's unhealthy. Try to be yourself. Find who you are. That just doesn't make any sense trying to copy somebody else. It's I know it's a wild idea, but I mean it's just an idea. Try to find yourself.
Until my wedding. Ethan proposed after 3 years together, and I was over the moon. We planned a relatively small ceremony at a nature reserve near our city, with about 80 guests consisting mostly of close friends and family. I hesitated about inviting Olivia, but my mother insisted it would look strange to exclude her when she'd been such a significant part of my childhood. Besides, Mom argued, you haven't been close in years. Surely she's grown out of that copycat phase. Reluctantly, I sent Olivia an invitation.
But she hasn't.
Her RSVP came back immediately with an enthusiastic yes. And 3 heart emojis. I pushed down my apprehension, determined not to let old insecurities ruin my special day. The wedding was perfect, a sunny autumn afternoon, surrounded by colorful foliage and the people we loved most. When Olivia arrived, I was surprised to see she'd dyed her naturally blonde hair to a shade remarkably similar to my brown waves. She was also wearing a green dress, despite the clear please wear neutral colors request on our invitations. But I was too happy to care. During the reception, Olivia seemed unusually interested in Ethan, engaging him in lengthy conversations whenever I was occupied with other guests. At one point, I returned from the restroom to find her showing him childhood photos of me on her phone, her arm casually draped over his shoulder as they laughed together. Emma never told me about the time she fell into the neighbor's pool fully clothed, Ethan said, eyes bright with amusement. Oh, there's so much about Emma that you don't know, Olivia replied, her eyes meeting mine with a look I couldn't quite interpret. But don't worry, I can fill in all the gaps. I brushed it off as Olivia being her usual self, perhaps a bit uncomfortable at a wedding where she knew few people beside my family. The night ended, Ethan and I...
Honestly, I think I feel like this person is not the same as every other guy that you dated. I have a feeling he's not. I don't think he's the same. I hope he's not. I really hope. I hope this doesn't go like a tragic way. I mean, yes, you'll lose friendship with her. I know that, but I hope he doesn't sleep with her. Really don't, or go out with her.
For our honeymoon in New Zealand, and life continued. For the next few years, Olivia remained on the periphery of my life. She moved to our city about a year after the wedding, citing a job opportunity she couldn't pass up. Occasionally, we'd meet for coffee when my mother asked how she was doing, or we'd run into each other at the farmer's market I frequented. Each time, I'd notice something new. She'd started wearing her hair in my signature braid, or she'd mentioned taking up paddle boarding right after I'd posted about my new hobby. It was annoying but manageable, until she showed up at the housewarming party for our new home last month. Ethan and I had finally saved enough for a down payment on a small but charming craftsman-style house with a backyard perfect for gardening. We invited friends and family to celebrate, setting up lawn games and a DIY taco bar in the backyard. I hadn't actually invited Olivia, but she arrived with my cousin Jen, who apologetically explained that Olivia had heard about the party and asked to join. "Hope that's okay," Jen whispered, looking uncomfortable. She was pretty insistent. Olivia swept in with an enormous houseplant and air kisses, exclaiming over every detail of our home as if she'd been involved in the purchasing decision. "This kitchen backsplash is exactly what I would have chosen. And isn't this the same shade of blue I suggested for my apartment last year?" I kept my composure, playing the gracious hostess while keeping a watchful eye on her interactions with our other guests.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you did anything. Honestly, you barely talk to her. You only talk at maybe when you bump into each other and coffee. And that's forcefully.
She seemed particularly interested in my work friends, asking detailed questions about our projects and office
Wow.
dynamics.
Okay.
By the end of the night, she'd somehow managed to secure an invitation to join their book club and exchange numbers with my neighbor who taught yoga classes. After the party, Ethan commented on how intense Olivia seemed. "She asked a lot of questions about my job," he said as we cleaned up. "And whether we were planning to have kids soon. Bit personal for someone you don't seem that
Oh
close
my
to
God.
anymore."
Please don't tell me if they had kids that she's gonna somehow get kids as well. That's gonna be insane. Like, oh my God, I don't know how people think that's normal. Like, yes, like I said in the beginning, it's like cute for like a couple of months or so, unless you're twins. Obviously, that's a different story. But it may be cute for a couple months, couple days. That's cute. Two kids dressing up the same, yada yada yada. But I mean, after years on decades doing that, that's not cute anymore. That's creepy. That is insane.
I explained some of our history, though I downplayed the extent of Olivia's behavior, feeling oddly embarrassed about the whole thing. She's just always been that way. Very enthusiastic about other people's lives. "Well, she mentioned wanting to grab drinks sometime to hear more about my conservation work," he said, loading the dishwasher. "I told her you and I could meet her sometime." I felt a familiar twist of unease but pushed it aside. We were adults now. Married adults. Surely I was reading too much into things. Then came yesterday. I was scheduled to attend a weekend conference in Chicago, leaving early Friday morning and returning Sunday evening. Ethan planned to use the time to catch up on some writing for a research paper while enjoying a quiet weekend at home. I kissed him goodbye at 5 a.m. and headed to the airport, texting him when I landed and again after checking into my hotel. Around 7 p.m., after my first day of conference sessions, I FaceTimed Ethan to chat about our days. He looked uncomfortable, running his hand through his hair the way he does when something's bothering him. "Everything okay?" I asked. He hesitated. Olivia stopped by about an hour ago. Unannounced. My stomach dropped. What did she want? She said she was in the neighborhood and thought she'd drop off a book she mentioned at your housewarming party. But then she asked if she could come in, and it felt rude to say no. I took a deep breath. And she stayed for almost an hour, asking about the house renovations we're planning and talking about how she's thinking of redecorating her place in a similar style. He paused. She also brought wine. And takeout from that Thai place you like.
Who's coming in the driveway?
I see. I
Place
don't,
you like. My hands tightened around my phone.
she obviously she has some sort of issue, of course. I don't know what it is. I'm not a psychologist. I can't really diagnose her. Um, it, it's beyond creepy, obviously, but I mean, it's like some sort of mental problem, I believe. It's not jealousy. I know it's not jealousy because she's been doing it since she was a kid. So it's not really jealousy. It's like a very. It's not a form of admiration either because why would you go out with your friend's boyfriend after they broke up or try to hook up with your friend's boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. That's just yeah, she has some sort of mental problem, obviously.
Ethan, that's not normal. She planned this. She knew I was out of town. That's what I thought too, but I didn't want to be paranoid. It got weird, though. She kept bringing up memories of you as a kid, saying things like I know Emma better than anyone and Emma and I are practically the same person, we've shared everything since we were kids. We haven't shared everything, I said quietly. There's more, he continued. She asked to see our bedroom renovations. I said it wasn't a good time, but she just walked upstairs anyway, saying she wanted design inspiration. When I followed her up, she was looking at the photos on our dresser. Then she picked up your perfume and sprayed it on her wrist. My skin crawled. What did you do? I told her it was getting late and I had work to finish. She seemed disappointed but finally left after suggesting we should all go camping together sometime because she just bought all new gear. Didn't you just post about us booking that trip to Yosemite? I nodded, feeling sick. Ethan, I'm coming home. This isn't right. You don't need to cut your conference short, he assured me. I'm not going to let her in again. I'll just ignore the door if she comes back. But I couldn't focus on anything else. After a restless night, I changed my flight and was home by noon the next day. Ethan was relieved to see me, and we spent the afternoon talking through the entire history with Olivia, from childhood until now. For the first time, I didn't downplay or excuse her behavior. I told him everything, every copied hobby, every duplicated purchase, every borrowed boyfriend. I always thought I was overreacting, I admitted. My parents made me feel like I should be flattered by her attention. Ethan looked troubled. This isn't flattery, Emma. This sounds obsessive. And the way she just showed up here when she knew you were
That's the
gone.
word. Yeah, that's the word. She's obsessive. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the word. She's obsessive. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that's I was trying to think. I forgot the word because I knew it was like something because she was overly flattery for her. Yeah, obsessive. That's it. Yeah. That's crazy. Obsessive. Yep. She definitely is obsessive. She needs to go to some sort of psychologist or something or therapy. Cuz like I said, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she likes. She only knows or they only know what the other person likes. And that's it. Well, actually, no. She went to college for something else. So maybe she likes. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
That crosses a major line. We agreed to set clear boundaries. No more solo interactions. No more access to our home. I would be direct with her about why her behavior was inappropriate. I didn't have to wait long. That evening, my phone pinged with a text from Olivia. Had such a nice chat with Ethan yesterday. Your house is coming along beautifully. We should all have dinner next weekend. I found this amazing new recipe I want to try. I stared at my phone, anger and determination building inside me. Enough was enough. I called her instead of texting back. She answered on the second ring, her voice bright with false innocence. Olivia, I said firmly, we need to talk about boundaries. Boundaries? She sounded genuinely confused. What do you mean? I mean showing up at my house when you knew I was out of town. Bringing dinner and wine for my husband. Going through our bedroom. Oh, she laughed. That was completely innocent. I was just being friendly since you were gone and Ethan was all alone. That's what friends do. No, Olivia, that's not what friends do. And if we're being honest, we haven't been close friends for years. How can you say that? Her voice took on the wounded tone I knew so well. We've been friends our whole lives. We're practically sisters.
No. I mean, you have been childhood friends. Childhood friends doesn't really mean you're friends. I mean, unless you're really friends after childhood. But if you childhood friends, if you move away from your childhood friend, you haven't seen them in like what, let's say 4, 5, 6 years, and you just occasionally talk to them, I wouldn't really say you're friends. Now you're acquaintances. You knew each other at one point, but so many years passed by, you only talk to each other every so often, every like year or so of their birthday or something. You might forget their birthday once a year or something, and then you forget them all together, and then somehow, some way they call you or something, want to catch up or something like that. Then maybe you're just acquaintances. You're like, you know each other, but so many years passed by. So, I mean, you might not know each other now, but you knew each other, if you know what I mean.
Sisters don't try to copy everything about each other. Sisters don't show up uninvited to spend time with each other's husbands. I can't believe you're making such a big deal about this. I was just being nice. I took a deep breath. This isn't just about yesterday. This is about a pattern that's gone on our entire lives. You've copied my clothes, my hobbies, my college choices. You moved to my city, you show up at my events, and now you're making inappropriate contact with my husband. It needs to stop. There was a long silence. When she spoke again, her voice had hardened. You've always been so selfish, Emma. So unwilling to share. I look up to you, I admire your life, and this is how you treat me. By accusing me of what, exactly? Trying to steal your husband? I didn't say that. You implied it. Well, here's something to consider. Maybe if you were a better friend, a more generous person, you wouldn't feel so threatened by me spending time with Ethan. Maybe if your marriage was stronger, you wouldn't worry about me borrowing him. The conversation devolved from there, with Olivia alternating between playing the victim and launching personal attacks. Finally, I interrupted her. This friendship isn't healthy for either of us, Olivia. I think we need to take a step back. Please don't contact me or Ethan again. You can't just end a lifelong friendship because you're insecure. I'm not ending it because I'm insecure. I'm ending it because it's not a real friendship. It never was. I hung up, feeling simultaneously drained and relieved. Within minutes, my phone exploded with texts from Olivia, ranging from pleading, "Please don't do this, you're my best friend," to angry, "You've always thought you were better than me," to threatening, "I'll tell everyone what you're really like." I blocked her number. That should have been the end of it, but within hours, Olivia had launched a social media campaign painting herself as the victim of a cruel betrayal. She posted old photos of us together with captions like "heartbroken that someone I considered family for 25 years could throw me away so callously," and true colors finally revealed. Mutual acquaintances from our hometown began messaging me, asking what happened and why I was being so harsh to someone who clearly cared about me. Even my mother called, distressed by what she'd heard. Olivia's mother says she's absolutely devastated. Don't you think you're being a bit extreme? She's always looked up to you. It took an hour-long conversation to help my mother understand the reality of the situation, including the uncomfortable truth that her dismissal of my concerns over the years had enabled Olivia's behavior. To her credit, once I explained everything, including the incident with Ethan, she apologized. "I had no idea it had gotten so serious," she admitted. "I just thought it was the same harmless admiration from when you were kids. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you back then. It's been a week now. I've kept Olivia blocked on all platforms.
I mean, come on. Even I knew that was weird. I mean, obsessions, admiration doesn't last that long, especially for kids. They don't last that long. They last a few, maybe months at most, probably 2 to 3 months. But that's an obsession. And obsessions that lasts a long time. Sometimes your whole life if you don't deal with it.
Friends have informed me she's still posting about the situation, now claiming that I'm unstable and making things up about her. She's apparently told several people that Ethan reached out to her because he was concerned about my mental health, a complete fabrication. Yesterday, she took it a step further by showing up at my workplace with lunch, telling my co-workers she was worried about me and wanted to check in. Security escorted her out when I refused to see her, but the damage was done. Now my professional colleagues are curious about the drama. Ethan suggested we consider a restraining order if her behavior escalates further, a possibility I never imagined would be on the table with someone I've known since kindergarten. But as I look back at our history with clearer eyes, I realize this pattern of obsession and boundary violations has been building for decades. I just
That's
normalized
true.
it because it had always been my reality. So here I am, trying to process the end of a lifelong friendship that I'm not sure was ever genuine, dealing with flying monkeys from our hometown who think I'm the
It's not a real friendship. Like I said, it's a forced friendship. It was a forced friendship from the beginning. Your parents were friends. They both had kids around the same age. You guys play with each other, of course, because wherever your mom goes, of course, you would go there as well. So, you guys play together. It's forcefully played together. I mean, it wasn't real friendship at all.
villain in this story, and worrying about what Olivia might do next in her campaign to insert herself into my life, or worse, to damage what I've built. I know cutting her off completely is the right decision, but after 25 years of this dynamic, it's disorienting to finally stand my ground. Part of me still questions if I'm overreacting, if I should have found a gentler way to establish boundaries. But another part feels an overwhelming sense of freedom.
No, she's just gonna play the victim like always. Like it's a card. It's a card that she plays all the time. If you bring up that you want a boundary or something, she's gonna play the victim card or something like that. Or she's gonna act all innocent or something.
Like I can finally live my life without someone waiting in the wings to duplicate it. If you've read this far, thank you. I guess I'm looking for reassurance that I'm not crazy for finally setting this boundary, and maybe advice on how to handle the
No, you
fallout,
probably
especially with mutual
honest probably should have said it a long time ago, but I understand why you didn't.
connections who don't understand the full context of our history. Update: thank you all for the supportive comments and advice. A lot has happened in the past 2 days. Shortly after posting this, I learned that Olivia had started contacting my extended family members with increasingly bizarre claims, including that Ethan and I were having marital problems and that she was just trying to be there for him during this difficult time. She even told my cousin that Ethan had confided in her about wanting to leave me. When my cousin asked Ethan about this directly, he was horrified. That was the final straw for us. We consulted with a lawyer yesterday and are in the process of filing for a restraining order. We also discovered that Olivia has apparently been driving by our house multiple times a day. Our neighbor's security camera caught her car passing at least 4 times yesterday alone.
Dang.
The most disturbing development happened.
She needs to go to not a psych ward, but she needs to go get a mental help. She needs to get real help. Like, seriously.
This morning, I received an email from a hair salon confirming my appointment for tomorrow, to cut and color my hair to match a photo the client had provided. I never made this appointment. When I called the salon to cancel, they described the person who had made the appointment in person, and it was clearly Olivia, using my name. I'm equal parts angry and afraid at this point. This level of identity fixation goes beyond what even I had experienced with her before. The lawyer assures us we have solid grounds for the restraining order, and we're documenting everything. I've also informed my workplace security about the situation. Thank you again for helping me see that I'm not overreacting. Sometimes when you've normalized someone's behavior for so long, it takes outside perspectives to realize just how.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Once you grow up, or once you grow up with somebody's way of doing things, or the way that, somebody tells you that it's fine, that's just normal. Obviously, you normalize it in your own life, but once somebody else looks at it, be like, yeah, that's not normal. That's weird. That's 100% bizarre. You are right for saying that was weird that long ago. This is not right at all.
Unhealthy the situation has become.
Oh man,
Your home tells a story.
that's it? Really? They cut off. I feel like they cut it off, but okay. I guess that was it. I mean, it is the obsession. I don't understand the obsession. I really don't understand obsession over anything. Well, over a person. I don't get it. I really don't. But whatever. It's fine. I might never get it. Okay. This one wasn't really, I didn't really react that much, I don't think. So, my child friend always borrowed everything from me. Yesterday, she tried to borrow my husband. Yikes. And that was Dead Spies Reddit story react. I need. That's a. I find that annoying that I can't remember